darlings, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you can probably tell, today is a little bit different. We're not going to be doing a playlist series that I've done before. This is the very first one, so I'm very excited. It's something that I want to call desk side diaries, and while a lot of my other videos really cater to specific categories like style or beauty, this is really more of a Q&A series. I put it together a massive list of everything that each of you have asked me over the course of the past 6 months. And what I've done is I've actually created a master list, and it's everything from vlogging to love life, to style and fashion, to beauty, to girl power, to travel, to the business of blogging, weddings and celebration. And so what I'm doing is I'm creating starting out a 5-part series, and today is the first part of that series, and it's all about me. So I'm going to introduce myself to you as if we've never met before, and yeah, I hope to answer some of your questions, and leave some comments below if you have any more specific questions, because I can always filter them into upcoming series, and this will be going live each month, one a month, so stay tuned. Okay, so about me. First question up is, how did you get your start? Oh my gosh, where do I begin? In the blogging world, I started about 4 years ago, and 3 years ago was when I went full-time. But how I got my start in fashion is kind of, I guess, the bigger question that kind of like leads into a lot of these other questions. When I started in the fashion world, blogging was not a thing. Either working in fashion editorial, so working on a magazine, or working on the PR side of things with product placement was kind of where everything was at. And so I decided that I was gonna go into the PR world because I lived in LA and there weren't a lot of magazines or editorial outlets in LA. So I took up a position at a PR firm, and I worked in PR for about 6 years, and I was working with my couture clients and liaisoning between, you know, their celebrity clients and the magazines and where placements would be, and it was so much fun. Honestly, it was such a fun job. I would open up boxes of like couture gowns every day. I'm not complaining. What I loved most about that job was helping my brands create a presence in media. And I absolutely loved the excitement of placements in magazines like Vogue and on, you know, these beautiful celebs, and so it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. But what I was lacking was a bit of creative direction with what I was doing. So I threw myself back into school for fashion design, and while I was in school for fashion design, I started a blog. And at first it was just pictures of things that I was designing and creating in design school. And then I was kind of like, oh, I want to take this a little bit more seriously. Again, like 3 years ago, blogging really wasn't a thing. My girls that I would look to for inspiration in blogging were like Blair Edie of Atlantic Pacific, Gary Peppergirl, Tula Vintage. And so these were kind of like the only, you know, fashion girls like on the radar then. And they had such a beautiful way of creating this kind of like editorial escapism that I absolutely loved. So I gave it my best shot and I started a blog. And Margo, if you don't know, Margo is my French bulldog, and I am the me of Margo and Me. And we started, again, just really heavily rooted in fashion. And as my audience started growing, you know, I kind of looked to think of ways to expand that. So we moved quickly into beauty and wedding, and these are all things that I naturally do as a girl. So it was really fun for me to just kind of like sit down and share them with you. Okay, now the next question is, when did you decide to take your blog full time? So it was about, like I said, a year after I started blogging, and I had gotten some traction in a few magazines with an outfit that I wore to Coachella 2013. Yes, 2013. And it got picked up in Harper's Bazaar. It was run online and in magazines globally. I have a Harper's Bazaar Korea copy with my picture like this big, and it was like with credits and everything. And so I saw that there was a bit of momentum. And career tip, if you ever get a bit of momentum going, whether it be a job lead or some bit of excitement, run with it, because that is what's going to really propel you to the next level. So my husband Freddie is a photographer and cameraman. He's behind camera, not right now, but typically he is. We decided that we were going to give it 6 months, because let's be real, you know, like, you can try something for a while, and if it's not working, it's not working. So what we did was we put really realistic expectations on how much we were going to be earning each month, what our specific roles are, what our strategy was for outreach, you know, pitching ourselves to editorial outlets, to designers, to work with their, you know, with their beautiful clothes, to work with beauty brands. So what we did was really kind of in the first couple months tried to show them what we could do. Next, how would you describe your blogging style? Now it's kind of shifted. I think I've always erred on this kind of girly side. Sometimes I think that girly style is, I don't know, it's not looked at as exciting sometimes. So what I, you know, attempt to do is to infuse a bit of excitement in the feminine and girly way of dressing. What's next? What keeps you going when you're exhausted? When I get exhausted, and I don't like to do anything. I think it's really important to take time for yourself always. If you're feeling worn out, take a moment. Take half day at work, sleep in, or if you're a night person, you know, go to bed early. It's really important to just kind of like be able to check out, especially in a world where we're so overwhelmed with social media. What do you wish you had learned earlier? This is a great one. I love this question. I wish I would have learned to relax a little bit. In my early 20s, I was very nervous about making it and making a name for myself in whatever career it was that I decided to be in. I felt this insane pressure to find what it was that I was going to do. But I do wish if I could go back and tell myself anything, it would just be to kind of like relax a little bit and enjoy the process, because it goes by really quickly. And yeah, I think that's with anything in life, whatever you do, just learn to enjoy every moment instead of trying to foresee the future so much. Let's see, what helps build confidence? For me, I mean, confidence comes from within, and being in an industry that I'm in is actually terrifying. So I have to be insanely confident in my own right to put myself on camera and to sit here and talk to you. Confidence just comes from within. You have to be able to be proud of who you are and know exactly what it is that you want in life. And even if you don't know what you want in life, it's being confident in the direction that you're going. Okay, next question is, how do you want to improve yourself in the next year? So in early 2016, I set a few goals, of which was to do YouTube. Here I am. So that's been one of them, which I'm excited about. And it's going pretty well. What do you think? And another goal was to team build, and team building I'll talk about more in the next series. The next series I'm going to talk specifically just about blogging and the business of blogging. So if you have any questions for that, make sure you're leaving them in the comments below. Okay, so now that you've learned a little bit more about me and the world of blogging and how I got into it, I wanted to do a fun game for you to kind of like get to know me and like me in my everyday. There is an editorial in Harper's Bazaar that runs every month, and it's called A Day in the Life. And what they do is they interview different tastemakers, designers, and they take them through 6 a.m. to whenever the person goes to bed. So I thought it would be fun for you to get to know me a little bit better by doing that. So first, I wake up every morning around 6 a.m. I'm an early bird. I didn't used to be this way. I don't know what clicked in me, but I am an early bird. I get up at 6 a.m. And I take the puppy out for a walk, and it's like when I like to set my intentions for the day and hop in the shower and get ready to go. I won't get fully ready. I'll just get like regular ready and normally let my hair dry. Then around 6:30, I'll start by doing a blog post. I don't like to get into emails first because then I get really distracted. So I'll start by doing a blog post, and will then, you know, post to all of my social media around that. Then is when I get to my emails. I like to categorize my emails by person. So like if I know that I have a project going on with somebody, I search the inbox for that because it's the only way for me to filter through all of the emails that are in my inbox. So I'll search, you know, specifically from my assistant first to make sure if there's anything pressing, and then I'll search for my manager and see if there's anything from her, and get back to like the most pressing emails first, and then I'll kind of like filter through the rest until around 9 a.m. And 9 a.m. is when my lover wakes up, most of the time. Maybe he's up a little bit earlier. But I spend my morning, you know, really like having me time. And then when he wakes up is when I take my morning break. And we will have a coffee, discuss what's going on for the day. He's the chef amongst the two of us. So he treats me to breakfast. You know, we'll either like do an attainable, we'll like, you know, we'll walk down to like Earth Bar and get a smoothie, or we'll cook. Well, if we have groceries, we'll make some eggs and some English muffins and bacon if we're feeling like being bad. Okay. Then around 10 a.m., that'll be like an hour. Because then like that's our time to meet too and talk about the day. Then around 10 a.m., from 10 a.m. to noon is like when I schedule my calls. So I'll take calls, you know, during that whole time. I'll just like block out 2 hours for that. And again, like I'll also maybe post to Instagram or Facebook or Twitter a few more times promoting the blog post. That's up for the day. Around noon is when I head out. So I'll like get actually ready, put my makeup on, do my hair, put an outfit on, and I'll head out for meetings. And my meetings consist of anything from like a lunch meeting to going to showrooms to pick out looks for upcoming shoots. In LA, you seriously live out of your car. So my car is always stocked with like granola bars and nuts and water, and just so that I'm not tempted to like stop and get something that's unhealthy. But I spend a lot of time in my car. Tragic? Maybe. Okay, so then around 4 o'clock, I'll spend about 4 hours doing all of that, and around 4 o'clock, Freddie and I will meet back up. We like to shoot in the early evenings because that's when the sun is really nice. So we'll, you know, meet up wherever, you know, is a common meeting spot for both of us, and we'll shoot for about an hour. And then we're, you know, we're normally together, like after, you know, 4 to 5, like we'll be shooting. So like we'll be downtown Beverly Hills or like somewhere in West Hollywood. So what we'll do is we'll grab a quick bite to eat. Then we'll come back home, take the puppy out, hang out for a bit. But then I like to hop back on emails because during that like 5-hour window, I've typically missed a lot. So I'll just kind of like, again, get on, address anything that's pressing. And then once we're done with that, and I have to like make sure that I like check out at a certain time every day because I just could work like all night long. Around 7 o'clock is time for Freddie and I to just like chill and have us time. We have a theater, a movie theater, Sundance theater up on the corner of our street. And so we love going up there. They serve wine. So we'll just have some wine, like watch a movie, and then we'll come back home and snuggle the puppy and go to bed. That is a day in the life of when I'm here in LA, when I'm out and about. That is for another story. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about me and how my world works. And again, if you have any questions about anything in particular, Freddie and I are going to be doing a couples Q&A. And so any comments or questions you have about that, be sure to leave them below. And let's see, we're going to be doing the business of blogging coming up, so make sure to ask some questions about that. If there's anything specifically you want to know about my approach to blogging or how to grow your social media following, the more specific you can get with your questions, the better. And yeah, I think that's about it. I really hope you enjoyed today's segment. Hopefully I didn't talk your face off, but yeah. Okay, well, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week. Mwah.